Okay, Talvians, I think we're live right now. Okay, let's see here. Okay, we're going to give it a couple minutes, see if anyone comes on. See what it looks like. Make sure everyone can see me. Because you never know. You never know. Let's see. Okay, we're going to give it a couple minutes, see if anyone comes on. Okay, so it sounds like the sound is good. Yes, everyone can hear me? Yes, everyone can see me. Is that good or bad? Hey, Heidi, my love, how are you? I'm just going to give it a couple minutes, see if anyone else jumps on. I don't understand why I don't tuck my hair to start with, because I just end up tucking it at some point anyway. It looks like there's a little bit of a delay from what's posting and what I'm seeing. So I'll just kind of, again, just wait a couple minutes. We'll see if anyone else jumps on. I'm just going to drink some of my Beauty and the Beast tea. Okay. Oh, goodness. Heidi, I'm so glad you could join us. I love it. Patreons, unite. Okay, I know everyone's probably not going to jump on immediately at 12, so I figure if we give it till about 5 after, give people a couple minutes to jump on and whatnot, we'll kind of jump right into everything. Okay. You know what? People are late. Let's just do it anyway. Okay, so let's jump into this. Oh my gosh, how exciting. Okay, so everybody, as you guys know, we have a big launch coming up. And Kaylee's online too. Awesome. We have a big launch coming up, massive, huge. So the pre-orders are going to be available November 5th. So we're thinking literally like a couple of days from now. It's madness. With the pre-orders, as I mentioned before in the video I did, pre-orders are massive. Like if we can get a high number of pre-orders, it's going to look really good in the long run. So basically they base how well your book is going to do on pre-orders. So if we can get a lot of people to pre-order, then it'll look really good and people will be like, oh, a lot of people are buying this, let's buy more of it. So we'll be able to do that. Kaylee, I know I talk with my hands a lot, I'm sorry. So pre-ordering is massive. So this is why I kind of wanted to do the giveaway. That way you guys can promote it and have an opportunity to say, listen, there's this new author. She's got this book out. We need to kind of help her out. And so I wanted to do a giveaway to kind of help you guys by helping me. help me help you, Jerry Maguire reference. So this was the plan. All we got to do is do the giveaway. So for the giveaway, anyone who pre-orders the book when it comes available on November 5th will be entered into a drawing. I am going on record to say the more you post on social media and tag me, email me, like whatever you want to do for like showing me that you've purchased one, I will enter you for more drawings. So if you purchase the book and send me like a copy of the, thank you for your order notification, that's one entry. If you post it on social media, that's another entry. So like Facebook, Twitter. So the more you post it, the more entries you'll be entered to win. So I'm very excited. And again, I am modeling the t-shirts. Raphael behind me is also modeling the t-shirt that you would win. So it is a t-shirt with the logo on it that I'm wearing right now. You can't really see it. Hold on. There we go. And there's my microphone. It's in the way. So, but that would be the t-shirt that you would win. Like I said, they are extra large because I'm a big person, so I tend to get extra larges. But if the person that wins needs a different size, I can work with that person as well. So I am willing to adjust if necessary. So that's the giveaway part of things. For the release dates, I do want to go on record and say the pre-orders are massive. I'm very excited about it. I have come up with the pricing, so it will be discounted for the month of November and December. Again, it would be, I wrote this down somewhere. For the ebook, it's $2.99. For the paperback, it will be $5.99. And remember, the paperback's not available for pre-order, and it will be available on the, oh my gosh, I can't remember any dates. This is why I don't like to go live. This is why I usually do other things, because I can delete it and go back and be like, I don't remember what that date is. The 22nd. Oh, you think I'd remember the date of my own release. So the 22nd of November is for the paperbacks. But as I said, they are going to go on sale. So the paperbacks and the ebook will both be on sale all the way through November and all the way through December as well. So there we go. So I'm definitely excited about the giveaway. I hope you guys are excited too. I can't wait for you guys to read it. There has been a lot of stress and drama with my book cover and then with the editing. It's been a crazy, crazy journey. I've tried to post the website and keep it updated on the blog as much as possible. Kaylee, my daughter's reminding me that I should have planned things. And I did plan some things, but I just didn't have my date available right next to me, and I should have. It just happens. This is why we go live. Okay, live is just natural for most people, not for me. Okay, so yeah, so did anyone have any other questions about the releases, like how you get to it, where it's available, that type of thing? Because I can go into detail about that as well, if you guys need me to. So, okay, so it looks like we do need some clarification. Okay, so it will be Amazon.com where it's available, both for the pre-order for the ebook and also for the paperback and the ebook on the 22nd as well. So it's Amazon.com. So those in England who are wanting to purchase it, you still can, but you do have to use Amazon.com, not Amazon.co.uk, if that makes sense. Okay. Anything else? Okay, perfect. Okay, so I figure while we're still kind of getting into it, I'll go through some questions that were submitted by my wonderful Patreons. If you would like to join my Patreons, it's patreon.com/Heritage Saga, all together, all one word, lowercase. The lowest package is $2 a month, and I promise you it definitely goes to a good cause. It helps for, editing, for book covers, like it helps everything. Even though it's only $2, trust me, every little bit helps. It goes to a good cause. Also, I don't think I remember saying this in any of the videos because I'm insane, but 10% of all the proceeds for the Patreons actually goes to the condition that I have, interstitial cystitis, for research purposes, because there's no cure right now. It's basically a chronic pain disorder, condition, however you want to say it. So yeah, that helps the Patreon side of things as well. So not only are you helping me, you're also helping find a cure, which is always good. And I noticed one of my questions actually was about my condition, so I'll kind of just lead right into that. So someone asked, since you have chronic pain condition, how does it affect your writing both positively and negatively? That's actually a good question. So with chronic pain comes a lot of, depression and mood swings and stuff like that, because my pain is definitely triggers my darker thoughts and stuff. So it can definitely affect negatively, especially when it comes to writing, because you just kind of get to that point where you don't want to do anything, let alone something that you love to do, because it kind of takes over your whole mind. So I personally do a lot of rest days as well, especially this month, November, because it's NaNoWriMo, National November Novel Writing Month. Um, so I tend to do a lot of like resting days. So I'll have a lot of days where I write a lot, and then I'll have days where I'm like, no, I can't write today. I'll just have a rest day. Um, Positively, though, sometimes it does come in handy, especially when I'm not having a particularly awful day, but I'm also not having the best day. So I'm kind of somewhere in between because I know I need to rest a little, but I can still function. So those days are actually pretty good because it kind of forces me to sit and do nothing. So on those days, I take advantage of it and just use that to get some writing done because I'm kind of forced to do nothing. So I might as well do nothing and write. So good days and bad days, it happens. Also, it looks like there was a question about NaNoWriMo as well. So for the NaNoWriMo, you seem to do NaNoWriMo every year. Would you recommend it to others and why? Okay, so for this one, I do really love doing NaNoWriMo. So for those of you who don't know what it is, it's, as I said, National November Novel Writing Month, something like that. And it's basically a goal of 50,000 words in 30 days or 31 days, however long this November is. um, and people kind of separate it into chunks depending on how they want to do it. Usually we like to aim, especially those who have won it before. It's usually like 2,000 words a day just to get done in time. They usually start giving out awards around I think it's like the 20th or something. Some people are crazy, I promise. Some people do start like doing it and they complete it in like a week or like a couple of days, or like I think even one person did it in like a day before. I'm like, you crazy. That's insane. So it just kind of depends. I definitely would recommend it. It's one of those things where um, even if you feel like you don't have the time, if you want to do it, you'll do it. So I would say if you're interested in writing it, or you notice you're gonna do a lot of writing, then you may as well just give it a try. That's what I say. Like if you if you feel like it's gonna be something that you're gonna try, then just try it anyway. Because honestly, the only thing about that, I mean, it's really a goal just for yourself. So you're not competing with other people. You're not competing with like people in your cabin. Like you have like your own little cabin that they do. And then, you have people that you talk to and they're working on their goal as well. So it's kind of like a personal goal. It's not necessarily a, you know, just a 50,000 words for you and, that stuff. So yeah, it's just like a personal goal for you. I mean, it's great if you win, they give you a bunch of discounts for stuff and, you get your winning banner and stuff, but really it's just something for you. So it's a way for you to say, okay, I have this book idea. I don't know how to get it down on paper. Now's your chance. So I definitely do recommend it to others if you feel like you would have the time. Even if you feel like you wouldn't have the time and you just want to do it, do it. That's what I say. What's the worst that can happen? You actually put down words that you weren't going to do anyway. So, give you some ideas. You never know. Oh, Judith came on. I totally didn't notice Judith came on. Hi, Judith. Okay, so let me see. What else? What is your process for developing your characters? Okay. Honestly, I feel like usually they're based on people I know. So for me, it's usually like it's usually me is usually the main character, or at least aspects of her or me. The love interest usually has a lot to do with my husband. They usually have very similar attributes. What else? I don't know. I feel like I'm not necessarily a planned author, so I don't write by planning things out really. It's just things that come to me, and then I just write down whatever scene came to me, and then I kind of embellish on it. So with the characters, I feel like most of the time they just come naturally. Some of my bad guys, I know I've had to like really think about their journey and if they're going to stay bad, if they're not going to stay bad, if they're kind of on the fence, if they're really bad, how bad do I want them to go? You guys will meet a gentleman called Staten in this first book, and believe me when I say he is not a nice guy. He's like the worst of the worst. Pretty much your worst nightmare. He's basically it. He was very interesting to develop. And for him, I feel like at first he just became almost like a placeholder at first. Like I was thinking that I needed to have someone that was really, really evil, but I hadn't really worked out the details of them yet. And then when he came into the story, I was thinking, oh no, he'll just be there till I figure out, who it's really going to be. And then it ended up being him, but I made him a lot more evil than he was. So it just kind of depends, really. Do you ever have a fantasy about being a character in a book and write it into your book, having an experience you would like to have? I feel like it would depend on the book. Like, definitely for like Harry Potter, I would definitely want to be a character in Harry Potter. I would probably be a Slytherin, let's be honest. But writing it into my book, I actually have. There's a couple of times I've written a character in my book, and I've kind of thought I would really like to be that character. Like, there's one in particular, but she doesn't pop up till the second book, so I'm not going to spoil it for you. But there's a woman that pops up in the second book who kind of helps our main character. And when I was writing her, I had a couple of ideas about who I wanted her to look like. And then I kind of was like, well, it'd be kind of cool to play her in a movie. Like if it was like a do you want to be in your own movie, she would definitely be the one I'd be like, I mean, I don't want to be like a main character or anything because that's just, ridiculous. And I would be happy just to be like, someone who just walks past in the background or something, just something kind of like a Stephanie Meyer thing in Twilight where, she's actually at the restaurant, but you just see her for like a second, just so even if I was just walking in the background, I think that would be cool. But when I was writing this particular character, I love Jamie Lee Curtis. And I thought, Jamie Lee Curtis is an older woman, would be amazing at this role. I mean, I'm not sure she'd go for like a fantasy type situation, like medieval, but at the same time, I was like, yeah, I could, if they asked me and if it was possible, then she would definitely be the character that I would want to be. Once I release the second one, I promise I'll tell you guys who it is. I keep hitting my microphone. Do you write your white knight type dream man into the story? Yes. As I mentioned, the love interest is usually always my husband, or at least they're always 6'2". They're always like dark haired, so my main character's love interest usually always resembles my loving husband in some way, either height, hair color, eye color, anything like that. So it's usually something along those lines. Do you write your books thinking of a moral of the story or just the action and adventure? Kind of both. Like, as I said, I don't really plan things out much. So most of the time I just kind of go where the characters want me to take them. I know that sounds weird. It's writer brain for you, writer brain. So it's pretty much wherever they want us to go is where we go. But I do try and think, I want them to go on a journey that helps them as people. Like, I don't want it just to be an adventure for an adventure's sake. I want them to have a purpose. And so as part of as the book goes on, book one, I want Catherine, our main character, to go through a lot of changes. Like in the beginning, she's very selfish. She's very arrogant. She's like, I'm a princess. You're like lowly servants, at least she puts on the persona of that. Like she wants to be better, but I don't feel like she knows how in the beginning. And then it's through her servant Carrie and Lance, and they kind of bring out the better side of her, and I love that. I love that. So I don't think it was intentional. I think it just kind of is how the story evolved. But I definitely wanted her to go on some kind of change. Like I wanted her to become a better person after everything happened. And she has to go through a lot for that to happen because she is one stubborn girl, I promise. She's so stubborn. Oh, how did you pick your character's eye color? As I said, that depending on the character, I tend to be very cliche though with some of them. So I tend to pick them it depending on the person. So for my main character, it's the dark hair, the blue eyes. For her best friend, it's like the blonde hair, the dark eyes. So I tried to like switch it up a little bit. But then with Staten, like I said, evil, evil, evil man. So his are very, very dark. He has very dark eyes, black hair, very dark eyes. Some other people you'll meet in the second one definitely match their coloring. Let's just say that. I can't tell you more because it's giving other things away. Okay. And so my wonderful, wonderful patron, Heidi McAllister Jensen, forgive me if I pronounced your name wrong, Heidi. She submitted a couple of these other ones too. So did you write books in grade school, and what were one of some of them about? Okay, this is super embarrassing, but I'm going to go on live and I'm going to say it because I was very proud of it at the time, and that happened. So when I was 16, I was massive, and well, still now to this day, I'm a massive Hanson fan. Yes, I'm talking about the music group MMMBop. That's what I'm saying. Massive, massive Hanson fan. 3 brothers, right? Isaac, Taylor, and Zach. And there was me, my little sister, and our friend Kirsty. And I basically wrote a story about the 3 of us being like the girlfriends of them. So it was like 3 of them, 3 of us, matched perfectly. So I wrote a story where we were couples, and then like I get kidnapped by some vampire, and like it was so funny. And like Isaac and the guys had to come rescue me. Like it was great. It was so embarrassing. But bear in mind I was only 16. The book was really short. I remember I wrote it on like this tiny little notepad that I had, like back to front, like, and I wrote really big too, so I filled the whole notepad with it. And I don't even think I finished it. Oh no, I did. It was the very first book I completed. That's why I remember. So it was the very first book I ever completed. And it was the funniest thing ever. Like I found it a couple of weeks ago, and it's the funniest thing I've ever read. Yes, Kaylee, fan fiction extreme. It really is. It's so embarrassing. Like I read it to myself when I found it a couple of weeks ago, and it's so embarrassing. Like my spelling is even worse than it is now. And it's so funny. It's hilarious. It's so funny. And so, yeah, it's all about this situation. It's awful, Heidi. I promise. It's so bad. It's so embarrassing. I got to admit, though, even then, I knew how to write villains. Like, I don't know what it is about me and villains, but apparently I really know how to describe them because this vampire was mean. Like, he was really, really mean. It's so funny. So it was ridiculous. It's so funny. Maybe I'll have to do it on another live. Like I'll read it to you guys. It's so embarrassing. Oh my gosh. I even remember doodling because I couldn't picture in my head what I wanted to say. So I even remember doodling a little bit on it to show, because for some reason at the end we ended up on like a roof. I don't know, like we were on a roof or something, and I had to like draw a little bit like where everyone was standing because I was really confused. It was so stupid. It was so dumb. Anna's here, yes. So anyway, that was like my super embarrassing, like, so yeah, I've been writing for as long as I can remember, for like forever. And that was the first book I was super proud of. I thought it was going to be amazing. And it was so embarrassing and so dumb. But It's very hilarious. It's very funny. Um, okay. Do you enjoy young or children people in your stories, or would you rather stay with mostly adults? If you had children, how do you decide what character they should be? Um, I feel like for my content, they do kind of have to be older. Um, I always say, and if my family and my children can attest, I when I write characters in my book, bad things happen to them, and I mean bad things. So usually I like to keep children out of this. But I told my daughter too, like once you're 18, you're like free game. But see, in my books, I try not to involve children a lot, and I try not to involve like animals. Like, so usually in my books, things will not happen to children or animals. There is a backstory scene in this first book, warning, like trigger warning right there. Just because I don't want anyone to get triggered, but there is some past trauma that happens to our main love interest. I won't go into detail because I want you guys to read the book, but it is a little rough for a trigger warning. And I don't go into too much detail. Some of it I kind of leave to the imagination. But after that, like children and animals will not be harmed. But like I said, once you turn 18, you're kind of free game. So I tend to make my characters a little older because I kind of want options. That sounds terrible. It sounds terrible. But that's kind of why I set my age ranges a little bit older, just because, I don't want anything to happen to kids. I don't want anything to happen to teenagers. And I'm very anti-animal harm. So yeah, once you're 18, you're good. Oh, Candy's here too. Hi, Candy. Okay. Then the last question I had was, I would have a hard time coming up with names for places or people. Me too, Heidi. Me too. And whether to have mountains or deserts. How do you decide, and do you like to write about one type of place more than another? Forests. I love writing about forests. I know that's very Tolkien. Tolkien was all about forests and stuff like that, but I always feel at home in Washington. I don't know why. I've been up to Forks a couple of times for Twilight events, and I always feel at home up there because it's very dense forest, lots of moss, and it's very mystical. It really is. Like the first time I went through the peninsula on a hike, like it's magical. There's no other way to explain it. Like it's just amazing up there. So when you're walking through these forests, they're so dense and they've got all this moss, and it's amazing. I can't even explain it. Like it's one of those, like, you have to be there. Like I can post pictures of it and like so you guys can see what I'm talking about, but unless you're there in person, like you just don't feel the same. But anyway, I do when I look at pictures because I remember it, but I feel like you can't really if you're there. Um as far as the mountains and deserts go, I love beaches too. Um, Again, I feel like some of it just kind of evolves depending on where the characters take me. So I feel like Keely, when I turn 18, avoid my mom. That's not true. You know that's not true. I'm just like, characters are free game. And Kaylee already knows too. I already told her that her and Nation, I'm very strategic about putting people's names in books. And so Kaylee and Nation both have characters, I believe, in both books. So they're mentioned in the first one. I think Kaylee is. And then I think Nation's mentioned and Kaylee in the second one. So they are mentioned by name. They're just different characters and they are a little bit older. But like nothing bad happens to them. At least not in this book. Kaylee knows. Like book 4 is basically her story and book 5 is Nation's. So they can decide what happens to them later. So, but for settings, it just kind of depends. I always did picture, this is going to kind of give a little bit away for the second book, but I always did picture the first complete book, so this would be part 1 and part 2, ending in a desert. So spoiler alert, we're aiming for a desert. I And I don't know why. I think it's just I kind of pictured a couple of scenes, and when I pictured them, that's kind of where they were, like in the middle of nowhere in the desert. And so I knew we kind of had to make our way to a desert, and I wasn't sure how. And then I think that's how the first book developed, because then I was like, well, we need to get her to leave the kingdom, one, you know, that's a major thing. And so it kind of evolved from there as, you know, what can I do to her to get her from this place to this place, and also develop as a character in between. So some of it you kind of have to plan out, but for the most part, I just kind of go with it. So I think that's all the questions I had, though. And Deanna joined, which is awesome. Hi, Deanna. Welcome. So if I'll go over the details again, since we got a couple more people on. So, okay, so pre-orders again is the 5th. I'm going to be uploading it anytime now. I'm so excited. I can't even. You will have a chance to win one of these beautiful logo shirts that Raphael is showing off. And as I mentioned, if you send me a copy or at least a picture of your, like, thank you for your purchase for the pre-order, or just saying that it's like pre-ordered, I'll enter you once for the drawing. If you post it to Facebook, that's another. If you post it to Twitter, that's another. So if you tag me in everything, like the more you tag me in things, the more I'll enter you into the drawing. So you have lots and lots and lots of chances to win. So it just depends how much you want the shirt. So so that's the shirt side of things. Do you like writing about peasants or the rich and rulers? Kind of both. Kind of both. I feel like peasants have more fun, though, because I feel like they have more freedom. You know, they can come and go as they please. They just do what they want. Sometimes with the royals, especially with Catherine in the beginning, you guys will see hers is very restricted. Like, she can't really do much. And so, you know, she's kind of stuck doing what everyone else is telling her she has to do. So she has to do her schooling. She has to learn about the kingdom, the rules, because, you know, she's going to be ruler someday. So she's having to learn a lot of stuff that, you know, basically regular kids are, except medieval times. So they don't have history lessons really, because they are the history. But aside from that, yeah, they're kind of restricted. I think that's why I liked writing Catherine, because she's basically like a rich person that also has like a peasant mindset. Like, she just wants to do what she wants, and she doesn't really care about being royalty. She just thinks it's more of a burden than a privilege. And so, you know, she's just like anyone else. She's kind of set in a mold, and she wants to break out of it. And so she gets more than she bargains for, I tell you that much. So, but yeah, the peasants are fun too. I mean, Lance is our love interest, and he technically was a peasant at first, and so he's actually gained rank from being awesome. So I won't go again into too much detail about his past, because I will go into detail about it later. So we'll learn all about him and how him and Catherine get to meet, and it's gonna be amazing. You guys gonna love it. So did you guys have any other questions or anything? So aside from November 5th and November 22nd, we pretty much don't have anything to do. So it's just pretty much whatever you guys want to talk about. So, but just remember what I said about the pre-orders. The pre-orders are massive. So the more pre-orders we can get, the better, because it's going to look great with Amazon if we can get a ton of pre-orders, because then they're going to think, oh, this book's good, we can promote it more. Amazon has this weird thing where they if it has a lot of pre-orders, they automatically think it's going to do really good, so they end up promoting it more, which makes no sense. But technically the ones that are less anyway. So aside from that, I don't know if there's anything else we needed to go over. I know this is gonna, I initially said 2 hours, but I don't think I have enough to cover 2 hours. So I don't know. What do you guys want to do? Any other questions, concerns, situations? Oh, and just so you guys know, I am on Instagram, I am on Twitter, I am on, what's the other one? Pinterest. I always forget Pinterest. I'm on YouTube as well. I don't post as many videos to YouTube as I would like. I'm trying to work on that and be better. So it just depends. But yeah, aside from that, we're just hard at work editing and getting everything finalized so it can be up in the next couple of days. So I'm so excited. Okay, well, if you guys don't have any other questions or anything, I think we're going to call it here. Why are you in my live? Get out of my live. Everyone, this is my daughter, Kaylee. For those of you who don't know.
Hi.
Yes, it's all her fault. This whole thing is her fault. All of it. It was her fault. I came up with the idea for her, so it's all her fault. Heidi says howdy. Howdy. Okay, so I will let you guys go because now I've got chaos with my dog in here tip-tapping on the floor. So yeah, you guys are enough. Always keep fighting, and I will see you Talvians in the next video. Bye.